Hello and welcome back to the Tapping Fix. Today I'd like to go over with you some, benchmarks or, for lack of a better word, things that will help you pinpoint how to come up with a really effective setup statement so that when you start your tapping session, maybe you have a little bit more information to go on. And these are things that you don't always think about right away. And so I want you to start thinking in context of these terms when you start your tapping so that, if you want to get a little deeper than, my back hurts, my back hurts, my back hurts, right? Then you have the, ability and possibility to do that. Okay. And so you may be thinking, what is she going on about? Yes, I'll get to it, I promise. So, one of the things I want you to remember just universally is that your left side has to do with receiving things. Your right side has to do with giving things. Your right side has to do with creativity. Your left side has to do with logic and systematic things. Your legs, your feet have to do with walking forward into your life, right? Your low back traditionally has to do with finances. Your upper shoulders, if you're having trouble like turning your neck or seeing in different ways, has to do with rigidity or not being able to see another person's point of view. Many times it has to do, obviously, those things that you say to yourself, pressure. I feel the weight of the world is on my shoulders. That gives you a clue when you're doing your tapping to come up with some meanings beneath the meanings that can help you really uncover. They say that the best tapping you can do is like peeling back the layers of an onion. And each time you get to another emotional issue or another layer, you've really come that much closer to, really just taking that and getting it out of your system for good. So, I'll come up with a few more of these if you're interested so that, maybe you can learn kind of where that's coming from and where it's going. But just as a short, try to remember, if you're saying certain things out loud, if you have a saying that comes out of your mouth like, oh my God, every time I talk to that person, I just feel like I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders, right? When you're tapping and you're having shoulder pain, this would be one of the number one things you would want to come up with. I feel like I've got the weight of my world, on my shoulders. The weight of the world, it's all there. It makes me feel like this, right? This is where you want to go with this. Low back is traditionally finances and insecurity over finances. So if you have low back pain and you're not sure, the emotional component to your low back pain, then you might start with tapping on your pain, right? Where it's at, how it feels. But then you might end up with, obviously I don't feel supported. I'm not feeling supported by the universe. I don't feel like I have the finances I need to pull me through. I don't feel strong enough to support myself, right? Because if you think about it, your low back, that's what it does. It supports the whole rest of your body. Same with your legs and your feet. If you're having trouble with your feet or your legs, you need to, think to yourself, what am I having trouble walking forward into? What is it that I'm not ready to own where I can't stand on my own 2 feet, on my own terms, and move forward into? So if you start thinking about those things in those terms, it can really enrich your tapping and give you those extra layers that they're talking about simply by looking at what it is that's bothering you and really seeing where that ties in to the bigger picture. Okay? Hopefully that helps. If you have more questions or anything else, please let me know. Thanks so much. Until next time.